Breaking up with a narcissist is never easy. In fact, it can be one of the most emotionally draining and confusing experiences you will ever go through. But have you ever wondered what's really going on in the mind of a narcissist after you leave? What are they thinking once you walk out the door? In this video, we are going to dive into some of the psychology of a narcissist and explore what's really going on inside their minds after you break free. So let's break it down. When you first leave a narcissist, as heartbroken as you might feel, you'll probably also feel a sense of relief. You have finally escaped the emotional roller coaster, the gaslighting, and of course, the endless manipulation. But as the dust settles, have you ever stopped to consider what the narcissist is thinking about after you leave? While you might be working on healing and moving forward, they are processing the situation in a completely different way. Number 1, the narcissist feels shock and denial. At first, when the narcissist realizes that you're serious about leaving, their reaction is likely to be one of disbelief and denial. Narcissists, of course, live in a world where everything is about them. Their self-worth is tied to the control they have over others, and your departure is seen as a threat to their ego. They can't fathom the idea that you, someone who was once so close to them, would actually willingly choose to walk away. The initial shock causes them to deny the reality of the breakup. They might convince themselves that, well, this is just a temporary situation, or they might tell others that they were the one who ended things, not you. In their eyes, the relationship wasn't really that important. Of course, they downplay the significance. Oh, I don't care that they broke up with me. I was going to break up with them anyway. They downplay that significance and preserve their fragile sense of self. It's as if your absence doesn't matter to them, but deep down, it definitely stings. Number 2, the narcissist feels rage. As time passes, the narcissist can no longer deny what's happening. They often spiral into what some psychologists call narcissistic rage. And this is one of the most intense emotional reactions that a narcissist can have. They feel deeply humiliated, betrayed, and threatened by your decision to leave. After all, they view the relationship as a complete source of validation, and your exit will feel like an attack on their entire identity. During this phase, you might experience their anger. They might lash out at you, blame you for everything that went wrong in the relationship. If you dared to stand up for yourself or point out their flaws, they'll use that as proof of your betrayal. If you left because of their toxic behavior, they'll more than likely twist the narrative to make themselves the victim. And that's when you hear things like, you always misunderstand me, you don't hear me, you never appreciated me. And these are all attempts to shift the blame onto you. You might find yourself receiving angry texts, phone calls, very passive-aggressive or aggressive-aggressive messages. Their need to feel superior and in control is threatened, and they can't stand the idea of being left behind. In their mind, you're not supposed to walk away from them. They're entitled to your attention, your love, and your admiration. Your absence is absolutely a personal insult. Number 3, the narcissist is desperate. But as the emotional chaos and rage begins to die down, the narcissist might quickly, and usually does, switch gears and attempt something known as hoovering. Hoovering is when the narcissist tries to suck you back in, much like a vacuum, for another round of abuse. They can't stand being without narcissistic supply, someone to feed their ego. And so, of course, they're going to do whatever it takes to regain control. You might suddenly hear from them after a period of silence. They might reach out with a love bombing tactic designed to make you feel like everything is going to be different this time. Of course, those promises of change. They might send you sweet messages or flowers, reminding you of good times, gifts, things like that. They will pretend that they're willing to do whatever it takes. They're going to go to therapy. They're going to do this and that. But in reality, it's just pure manipulation. They're not genuinely interested in improving themselves or in building a healthier relationship with you. Instead, you're just seen as a source of validation, a tool to feed the ego. The moment you stop feeding that need that they have, they discard you and move on to somebody else. It's all about them. It's always and forever going to be. But if they can hoover you back, they regain a sense of dominance and they can start to feel pretty good about themselves again. It's tough, I know, trying to heal from a narcissistic relationship. It can leave you feeling very confused, drained, and unsure of who you even are anymore. But the good news is you don't have to go through it alone. I've been there too. For nearly 6 years, I've been studying narcissism, but more importantly, I've survived it myself. And so I offer flexible phone chats where we can talk about what you're going through in a way that feels like a real conversation, not just a therapy session. Whether you just need someone to listen or someone who can give you practical tips on moving forward, I can do both. I'm here to share what I've learned and help you figure out the next steps in your healing process. So if you're ready to talk, reach out anytime. My info's on the screen, and I'd love to hear from you. Number 4, the narcissist can become frantic. Eventually, the narcissist will begin the search for a new source of supply. This can happen quickly, sometimes before you have even fully healed from the breakup. These are people who can't stand being alone without their validation. They need that constant attention, and they need that in order to feel worthy. So they're very quickly on the look for someone new, someone to fill the void you left behind. This new person might be completely unaware of the narc's true nature and might fall victim to the charm, at least at first. But make no mistake, the narcissist is not moving on because they are emotionally ready for a new, healthy relationship. They are simply seeking a target to feed their ego. It's not about love. This is validation, attention, and admiration. Narcs often lack empathy. They can't form deep, meaningful connections. This new person, honestly, is an object that they're in pursuit of because the narcissist is looking for compliments and praise and many other things as well. As soon as this person begins to show any signs of independence, the narc will devalue and discard in time as well. The cycle of idealization, devaluation, and the discard will never stop. Number 5, the narcissist's lack of reflection. One of the most frustrating things about leaving a narcissist is that they rarely, if ever, reflect on their role in the breakup. While you're working through your feelings, they're typically focused on their little wounded pride and how can they regain control. Narcissists tend to see themselves as the center of the universe. Any attempt at self-reflection is often shallow or, again, pretty non-existent. They might look back at the relationship and reframe everything, rewrite the narrative in a way that suits their needs. Instead of taking responsibility for their toxic behavior, they blame whoever they were with at the time or convince themselves that they're the victim and they were, in fact, the one who was wronged. They might view you as the problem, or anybody else for that matter. Of course, again, they're going to downplay the significance of the relationship. Oh, well, it didn't matter. I wasn't really that into them anyway. Their inability to reflect honestly on their actions means they will continue to repeat the same patterns in future relationships. That's why you never, ever have to worry about, is this going to be any different? The answer is no, because the narcissist cannot reflect on their own problems. Number 6, the cycle does what the cycle does. It continues. The cycle of narcissistic behavior doesn't end just because you left. If the narc doesn't find a new source immediately, they're going to try to hoover you back in. If that doesn't work, they move on to someone else. They continue to go through this same pattern. Narcissists struggle to form emotional bonds because they are too busy viewing other people as tools for validation and not actually people. It's crucial to remember that narcissists don't change. All this need, all this stuff they have just really overrides any genuine desire for a healthy relationship. They are not looking for healthy, happy relationships. They continue to abuse, manipulate, and exploit those around them as long as they can. If you have ever left a narcissist, it's important to understand that the problem was never about you. It's their inability to maintain healthy, balanced relationships. You were simply a source of supply that they could control and validate and use for their own self-worth. Their mind doesn't process the relationship the way you do. And their thoughts after the breakup are all centered around how to maintain their ego and get the new validation. So if you've ever been able to walk away from a narc, know that you made a difficult, brave, healthy decision. Don't let manipulative tactics pull you back into a toxic world. Stay strong, focus on your healing, and never forget that you deserve better. You deserve respect, love, and genuine connection. Thank you so much for listening. If you found the video helpful, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more insights into relationships, narcissism, and mental health. Have a great day, survivor, and take care of yourself.